What's up, DC Nation? Welcome back to another video. If you guys like the video, give a big thumbs up. New YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe because all this great DC Comics content every day that you don't want to miss. Now guys, continue our coverage on like the evil Batman. We've pretty much gone through all of them except for the Merciless. And guys, this character is pretty much like a hybrid of Wonder Woman, or more like actually Ares and Batman, because it's like Batman becoming the god of war. And guys, this cover right here looks sick, looks awesome, because you just see him in like that god of war armor with his sword just holding up. Like when I saw this issue, I got so hyped. And I'll just say it right off the bat, it's not my favorite of the evil Batman, but it's not my least favorite. It's just kind of middle of the road, but Francis Manapul's art really sells it. And I just like the idea of a Batman who's a god of war. Like, that's just awesome. But yeah guys, enough this intro. Let's get to Batman the Merciless, number 1. So guys, first off, we got this dope cover. You pretty much see all these Amazons dead. Wonder Woman's dead. She's pretty much underneath like this hill. The Merciless is on top of it, which is Bruce. And he has like a sword he's holding up as like the lightning strikes. And guys, that lightning is striking hard. Like that's coming down really cool. And I like how how it looks. It's one of my favorite covers. Like Batman Who Laughs and Red Death, I would say their cover is on par with this too. It's just one of the best covers of all these evil Batman. And guys, dive in, we first see pretty much in Earth 12 in the Dark Multiverse, we see Batman holding Wonder Woman. She's dead. And on this Earth, they're actually in like a love relationship, which is really interesting. And you see him say it was supposed to be the final war, the last battle of good and evil. And we don't know who he's going against. We find out later that's Ares, which is one of Wonder Woman's like most famous villains. And what happened here was Wonder Woman died, and he's holding her, and Batman pretty much went to extreme measures to beat Ares. And we find out about that later in the story. These are the stories of the Dark Multiverse that should never be, and witness the rise of a Dark Knight. So that's what's said in all the other issues, but pretty much repeats that to keep the tone consistent. But guys, we continue, and we see on Earth, and pretty much in Langley, Virginia, at the HQ of Argus in the War Room. And guys, this room, it pretty much has 4 different leaders, or actually a couple more too, but leaders of 4 different like military operations. And these military operations are pretty much Argus, the DEO, Shade, which guys, Shade is pretty much like Frankenstein. The Shade, they went after like supernatural beings. The DEO, like they're actually in Supergirl TV series working with Supergirl, but they work with like different like Superman characters, even Superman himself. And then obviously Task Force X, which is Amanda Waller. And you see all these different people working together that they would never work together at all. Like you would never see these characters team up unless it's like a crisis event. And Steve Trevor's there, he's a part of like another military. He's kind of on his own though. Yeah, he's kind of on his own. He's not a part of any of these corporations. And he says that we only come together when it's a crisis protocol. So we're all here meeting in this war room to pretty much discuss what we're going to do. Because all the heroes, Superman's vanished, Batman's vanished, all the heroes that protect us, Flash, Green Lantern, every single one of them has vanished, and their cities, Central City, Coast City, Gotham City has been attacked, and we don't know what happened. And even the Watchtower, the Justice League Watchtower has been attacked too. That was actually attacked by the Murder Machine, and Cyborg got attacked there in like one of the earlier evil Batman stories. Now, here we see he's saying that we have to find a way to fight this off, and he's like, what do you have, Amanda Waller? And Amanda Waller's like, I sent in the Suicide Squad into Gotham City, and they haven't read back. I don't know what happened to them. There are chips in their head. Like, guys, you remember the Suicide Squad? They have like chips in their head that if they go against protocol, they pretty much die, like their head blows up. And guys, they went into Gotham City, and they pretty much have either been compromised or killed. Now we find out what happened to them in Gotham Resistance later down the line, but for right now, we don't know what happened to them. And Manuel is like, I'm pretty much left with nobody. I'm just on my own. We see General Samuel Lane, and guys, we see him, he's talking, he's like, this is a lose-lose situation, all the heroes are gone, we don't even have the Suicide Squad, so we're just left with the military. And he's like, I think we should just make a warhead and blow up this place. He's like, we're not gonna win. And he says that pretty much it's time that we just we can't like sugarcoat this. Evil versions of like from another universe has invaded and taken over, and we have nowhere to stop them unless like killing a bunch of people. And Mayor Wall's like, I kind of agree with that. If we kill millions to save billions, I think it's better. And Steve Trevor's like, no, we can't do that. That's not right. We can't kill so many people. And we see in the back Bones, who is part of like the Shade Corporation. He's just like smoking. He's not doing anything. And like the leader of Shade, she's just watching. She's observing. So it's more like a talk between General Samuel Lane and Amanda Waller and Steve Trevor. Now we go on and we see all of them arguing. And we see Samuel Lane, General Samuel Lane, and he's saying that he has like a warhead that is made out of pretty much modern science tech, chemoparticles, and Kryptonian sunstones. So that's some strong stuff in the DC Universe combined to one thing, and he calls it Valhalla. So he has some people, part of his, like the military, pretty much up in space, holding this warhead, waiting to pretty much get the signal where to like blast it off at. And it's actually 3 different people up in space. Now he's talking, and Amanda Waller's pretty much like judging all these different leaders. She's like, Bones, what are you doing here? You're not doing nothing. The leader of Shade, what are you doing here? And Amanda Waller's like, I think we should go with like General Samuel Lane's idea to just blow up this place, take it over, and take down these evil entities. And Steve Trevor and this other girl who pretty much has like an afro type hair, but she's a part of like Steve Trevor's team, so he actually did come with somebody. He came with this girl, and she pretty much says, we can't do this. She's like, I'm sure Wonder Woman and the Justice League, they'll be back, they'll take this down. And Samuel Lane's like, no, they're not going to be back, they're gone. They're dead probably, and we're left with the pieces and the fallout, so we gotta deal with this. And he's pretty much yelling, and Steve Trevor's like, no, we can't just kill millions. That's bad. That's not the right thing to do. And Samuel Lane's like, I always knew, Steve Trevor, you would not be the one to pull the trigger. And he's pretty much cut off when like pretty much a red alarm goes off, and they pretty much all falls to the ground. They hear like a shockwave, and at the front of the war room, like outside of it in Argus, is pretty much compromised, and the Merciless comes through. And guys, he comes through strong. Like this image right here, you see all the Argus agents lined up and they're ready to shoot, but the Merciless just goes through the wall, and he's like, look at them trying to play war. They don't know what they're doing with. They're trying to discuss, but they can't discuss because pretty much they all have different opinions. They can't figure out how to play war like I do. And he's like, I was only 8 years old when my war began with a shot fired in Gotham City. Now guys, if you know, when he was 8, or I think it was 8, like it says 8 here, but it's been changed throughout like Batman's history. But when he was 8 in Crime Valley, he was walking with his parents got shot, and that's pretty much started his vow to pretty much avenge his parents and save everyone in Gotham City and pretty much inflict justice as the Batman. Now, he says, it began with an oath to myself that what happen to me could never happen to anyone again. So pretty much what happened to him, his parents died, he wouldn't want that to happen to anybody else. So that's pretty much like Batman's code, but it's changed with the Merciless. And he pretty much says, an oath that I would wage my vow justly with rules, with mercy, unlike my enemy. What a fool I was back then. So you're pretty much saying that I have rules, I wouldn't kill anybody, and that caused different people to die, and I regret that. I was a fool, but now I know what's right. I know how to kill people, I know how to do bad stuff to achieve success. Now we see him go through, and these different like Argus people are shooting at him, and you see pretty much the Merciless slam his freaking sword down, and you see these different people get burned by his sword, so his sword can actually burn people and cut them in half. And all these people are getting cut, they're like screaming. And he says, as he's about to kill him, he's like, I was kind of like restricted for a second. Like I thought about my rule not to kill. But then I remembered that's not the right thing to do. I was full back then, so I just went for it. I gave all them clean deaths, pretty much a valiant death that only my sword can give. And you see him kill all these Argus agents. All of them like burned by the face, cut in half, and it's pretty messed up, but that's the Merciless style. Now, you see him go through, and in the war room, you see General Samuel Lane pretty much release these, the warheads that he had, that he was talking about, pretty much release them and pretty much target them on Gotham City, and target them at the war room. So where they're at, and Steve Trevor tries to stop him, but he can't, and then he punches Samuel Lane, and he's like, do you know what you just did? You pretty much just signed the death sentence for this whole damn city. You're gonna kill us, you're gonna kill millions of lives. And Amanda Waller then points a gun at Steve Trevor as he's on top of General Samuel Lane. And Amanda Waller's like, step away, Trevor. The general is right. This is the best option. Millions dead to save billions. So they're doing some bad stuff, and all these people around are some bad people. And even General Samuel Lane, even though he usually has like the right intention, here he does it all. He's willing to kill a bunch of people, and Steve Trevor's like, no, we can't do that. And then we see the Merciless pretty much talk about Trevor. He's like, she loved a man before me. And that was Wonder Woman. She loved Trevor. And he says, an honorable man who died in the early days of the war. And we see a flashback back to Batman's, the Merciless's origin. And it says how it happened overnight. Ares has forged a new helmet that magnified his powers by 100-fold. So Ares pretty much made a new helmet that made him super powerful. And it took Batman, Wonder Woman, all the Justice League. All the Justice League are supposedly dead here. So it's just Batman, Wonder Woman. They made it to the front lines over 2 years. So they've been fighting for 2 years. Finally made to Ares, and Wonder Woman died. She got hit by Ares, fell to the ground, and Batman's holding her in his hands. He's like, Ares, you'll pay for what you've done. And Ares is like, enlighten me. The fields of fire are lit with dead. All have fallen. Who are you to challenge the god of war? That's what he says. He's pretty much just boasting. He's like, you can't fight. I killed Wonder Woman. You have nothing against me, Batman. And Batman's like, Diana has told me. Guys, remember, Diana and Batman are pretty much in a love relationship here. And Wonder Woman told him, never take the helmet of Ares and put it on you. And Batman does that. Which for some reason, I don't know why Ares doesn't have his helmet on here. It's just by Batman. They must have been by when they were fighting. It got hit off. Wonder Woman hit it off. And it was right by Batman. And Batman pretty much chose to put it on. But still, if I was Ares, you're winning. You have one guy left to destroy it. And you have the greatest power, your helmet, right next to him. I would get that shit in a heartbeat. But guys, you see Batman, and he's talking about Diana, how she warned him that this pretty much helmet will corrupt you, will make you evil like Ares. And Batman's like, screw it, I have to do it. He killed Wonder Woman, my love, I have to destroy him. So he puts on that helmet, and he's like, then I became the god of war. And then they start pretty much going to fight. Now we switch to pretty much Earth-Zero and pretty much the Stratosphere, and we see these 3 different agents of General Samuel Lane, who I talked about earlier in this issue, and they have the warhead. They have the Valhalla warhead in their ship, and they're just waiting for the command, and they get the command to drop it on Gotham City or in Langley. It's pretty much to drop it in Langley, and these different people are like, we have to do it, and one of them is like, should we do this? This is a bad idea. And the other 2 are like, no, we have to do this. It's better to do this than kill pretty much villains. It's better to kill millions than kill a billion. That's pretty much the whole theme in this issue in a way. It's like the starting thing. So guys, we move on, and we see Amanda Waller. She punches Bones right in the face, knocks him out. She's like, you're not supposed to be here, you're supposed to be in prison, you're not a part of us, you don't have all the intelligence we do. And then we see all the fights. Steve Travers fight out General Samuel Lane. We see Amanda Waller fight out different people, the different people in Shade fighting off each other. And the Merciless just walks in, he's like, man, they're going against each other, I don't really have to do anything. And he puts his sword down in the cracks of the floor, and he starts quoting Diana. He's like, Diana, you would have wanted me to pretty much spare these people because you think that they can discuss war and plan out something better. But they're just crazy. They're killing each other, trying to beat each other up, and it's better to just kill them. And then he looks over his shoulder, he's like, I miss you, Diana. And then he goes in. Then you go back to his flashback origin story, and you see him talking. He's like, you would have said that I was corrupted by the helmet. You see him having the head of Ares in his hand. That's a graphic shot, but it's pretty cool. And you see him on top of the hill that is actually in the cover, guys. And you see fire behind him, and you see him talking, and you know who comes in front of him? The Batman who laughs. The same guy is going to all the evil Batman to pretty much recruit them. And he says that it's a losing war, Bruce. You've done everything you can to stop this war, but the cards are stacked against you. This whole Earth is gonna get destroyed in a matter of minutes. Ares is gone, all these heroes are gone, you're pretty much left alone, and you want to build a new world out of it, but it's gonna destroy it because this is the dark multiverse. And Batman Last explains this. Our Earths in the dark multiverse always are meant to get destroyed. And guys, this was actually expanded upon in the Red Death issue, but pretty much the dark multiverse, all its Earths are meant to die. They're not meant to live. The only Earths that are meant to live are in the positive multiverse, which is our Earth. And guys, you see the Merciless this is not true. This can't be true. You're lying. And Battle Last your helmet is able to sense the truth and sense pretty much the hearts of men and if they're speaking the truth or if they're lying. And Battle Last is sense me. I'm not lying. Don't you see? And the Merciless actually sees it. He's like, the Battle Last is not lying. He's like, I actually kind of recognized him because they're both the same character in a way. They're both Bruce Wayne, but just different versions. And the Merciless is actually chilled by this. He's like, this guy gave me chills. He's actually kind of scary. And the Battle Last is you pretty much fought this war, you won. but now it's time that you win an even bigger war. There's a big war in the cosmos that's going to require your strength, pretty much being the god of war, taking down war, winning it, and we're going to need you to win. And he says that it's time that you join me, go to the possible multiverse and take over with Barbados. And you see them both leave, and the Merciless is like, I had no other choice. My Earth was being destroyed, I had no one else to go to, so I went with the Battle Blue Lapse. Then we pretty much see like a recreation of the whole scene at the end of issue number 2 of Dark Knight's Metal, where you see like the evil Robins eating the Core of Owl members, you see all the evil Batman Barbados come through, and you see pretty much Barbados taking pretty much the energy out of Superman, Wonder Woman, and the Merciless is like, I couldn't look. I just looked at Barbados the entire time, so I couldn't look at Wonder Woman, my love. Pretty much this is a Wonder Woman from a different universe, but he still has love for her. Pretty much seeing her just get drained of energy. Merciless is like, I knew it was wrong to hurt you, but I had to go through with this. In the long run would be a better option. Now guys, we shift to pretty much the Merciless going through after the invasion of the Dark Knights, and he makes it to this temple, which is like the temple of Prince Khufu, but it's actually like a trap that the Core of Owls planned, but he sees all this thing that the Core of Owls used Batman for. He's like, the Batman on this universe was used as a pawn. And you see all these different images of like 0 Year, which is a big storyline in Scott Snyder's Batman. You see him fighting off Joker, all these different metals he's exposed to. Because guys, as you remember, he was exposed to like Electrum, Dionysium, Promethium, Nithmel, and then Batmanium. All 5 metals. All 5 metals. And it's pretty crazy. And you see the Batman last, he was just laughing, all the Batman Merciless is like, I felt like what I was doing was right. Then you see the 3 different agents, and one of those Cowgirl, that's her nickname, but they're inside this like ship, and it has the warhead Valhalla, and they go above Langley and like, wow, this place is kind of destroyed. Whatever is in here, we have to destroy it with this warhead. Hopefully it works. And they drop the warhead, you see a big explosion, you think it won. As they come by, they see the Merciless, and he's on top of like a throne pretty much, and all the place is just like pretty much destroyed. You see like the Wonder Woman symbol behind him, and then you see all the different military leaders like General Samuel Lane, Amanda Waller, Bones, they're all kneeling to him, praying to him. And you see Merciless like, now they see the truth, their precious weapon. Pretty much the warhead pretty much caused him to get stronger. He pretty much used that warhead and absorbed it. So all that energy went to him. So it's pretty much like a trap in a way. And he says that I could kill all these different leaders, but that'd be merciful. And instead I'm gonna have them just stay alive and watch the whole world just end. And then you see him, you warned me of this power, Diana. And he says, I love you, Diana, but I am sorry. And pretty much what happened was, Wonder Woman actually didn't die. After he killed Ares, Wonder Woman woke up and was like, you can't do this, Bruce, you can't. And Bruce pretty much was already corrupt. He's like, sorry. And he just striked her down, killed Wonder Woman, his love pretty much. He's just like, screw it, kill her. And then after that, you see him talking to Steve Trevor. He's holding him up. Steve Trevor's the last one who is now like praying to him. Steve Trevor's not been like, pretty much done. He's not done. He's still trying to fight back. He still has like motivation. And the Merciless is like, I was like you once. You pretty much, you had mercy, you had restraint, you couldn't do what was right, you couldn't do what would like save so many people. And he just holds Steve Trevor, but that's not the case anymore. And this world will fall to Barbados. And that's how it ends, guys. You see all them kneeling before him. Steve Trevor is holding in the air by Merciless. Everything's destroyed, and that ends his origin story and where he is at this point in Dark Knight's Metal. Now guys, the next one is Devastator, but as you know, I already did Devastator. You guys check it out in the eye top right corner right here. I like explaining that one too, but guys, this issue is pretty dope. I like it, especially Francis and Paul's art. But yeah guys, to explain part of this issue down, let's get to my review of Batman the Merciless. Number 1. Now guys, this issue is pretty dope. I really like Francis Paul's art. He's one of my favorite artists. Like, he just draws the story so well. And guys, the Merciless, his like look is just so cool. Like, just seeing us the God of War and that whole armor with like the sword and just striking people, like just badass, guys. That's badass. And it's really cool. And then just seeing Bruce in love with Wonder Woman, that was really interesting. And the backstory, though it wasn't super complex, it's still really interesting. I liked it. But overall, the flaws I have with it was it kind of dragged after we saw him like enter the DC universe with Barbados. Like, I get, okay, didn't want to see Wonder Woman get drained of her powers, but I wish we saw more of like the battle between Ares and Batman of the Merciless. So this was an interesting story, but I wish I got a little more out of it. But still, it's not my least favorite. My least favorite, as you guys know, is Batman the Drowned, but that story was still decent. But this one is pretty much on par with the Murder Machine and the other ones. It's not like the best one up there with like Red Death or Bound to Last, but still a great story that I do recommend, and that's why I'm gonna give it an 8.3 out of 10. I recommend it. Go check it out. Mostly for the art. Like Chris Paul's art is amazing, but the story itself too is still pretty interesting. You can keep up with it. And guys, if you just want to see Batman turn into a God of War, it's perfect for that. But yeah, guys, if you like the video, give a big thumbs up. If you channel, make sure to subscribe for all this great DC Comics content every day that you don't want to miss. And yeah, guys, that's the video, and peace out.